what happened in real estate is my surroundings, everybody wants nice things, nice, spend. I got drained. It was the lack of consistent income in real estate. I put too much into it, right? So you feel trapped. What am I going to do now? Start something else from scratch that I'm going to put so much into for potentially 5 years, and that doesn't pan out? Like,
can I be honest with you?
Yeah, sure.
You have, maybe this is inappropriate. I don't know. Your mindset is off. It's off. Get ready for Real Lives of Real Estate, where the world of real estate meets the essence of your life. Buckle up as we unravel stories, homes, and the heartbeat behind it all. Let's dive into another episode. I hope you share and are encouraged. All right, so we are here with, Tyler. Actually, I don't know. Pause. What is your last name?
Sellers.
No way.
Yes.
Your last name is Sellers? Put this on the clip. Anyways, all right, so we're here with Tyler Sellers. Crazy. And he is I'm a fan of his on Instagram. You've blessed me. We did Instagram Live. I don't know if you remember. We did Instagram Live. Okay, it was a good one.
Yeah, we talked for a while.
Yeah. And you are a realtor in the Greater Bergen County
area.
Greater Bergen County.
Specializing mostly in Bergen County.
Okay, sweet. So maybe a little bit of Hudson.
A little bit of Hudson, a little bit of Passaic.
Okay, gotcha.
A little bit of Morris.
Oh, look at you, a little dabble.
Yeah.
And you are a Bergen County native, or?
Yeah, Bergen County native. Born and raised in Bogota, New Jersey.
Bogota, smallest town in New Jersey, I think, right?
At 0.8 square miles.
0.8 square miles. Wow.
A very small town. I mean, maybe not the smallest New Jersey. I think you got
Who's smaller than that? Maybe like down the shore town, like a random like Belmar or something.
There's a couple.
Avon by the Sea. It's like 12 blocks.
You ever hear of that town Sussex in Sussex County?
No, that's why
it's
so
a
small.
Perfect octagon or hexagon, I think. It's minuscule.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe less than 0.8 square miles.
Definitely.
Okay, so this is what I got to say to the one and only. We'd love to know this every time we always open. What did you grow up in? Did you grow up in a house in Bogota, an apartment?
That's a great question. I love it. I grew up on Palisade Avenue in Bogota, New Jersey. So the main road in Bogota, in a single family house built in 1914.
Okay.
And my parents bought it in 91 before I was born. Still live there to this day. So it's a cool house. My dad, very handy guy, refinished it all himself. And so pretty blue collar family upbringing, right? Working class, I would say. And so it was a very cool upbringing. I definitely felt like Bogota is on that lower echelon of towns in Bergen County, especially now that I'm a real estate agent and I'm like looking at the list of towns. It's like, we started here, and when you start in Bogota, you're trying to make it, right? You know that most of the people that you're surrounded with outside of your immediate Bogota, Richfield Park, Hackensack area have more affluence, and that's what you're up against in sports, academics, just social life.
Wow.
That's what you have to get used to.
Well, in line with that, do you think at any point you kind of knew, like at what point, because I think real estate's so interesting, because real estate, like the towns, they kind of grab and kind of hold people of certain economic standings together, right? The demographics together. When did you realize, like, hey, because Bogota to me, I'm like, oh, that's a nice town, right?
Right.
When did you realize, like, oh, we are nice, but there's so much nicer? Did that ever, like, when did that click?
Socioeconomic diversity has always been my main focus as far as diversity goes. I never really saw color, culture. What I really saw as the only divide in my life experience growing up through high school, college, even afterwards, is socioeconomic diversity. You could be any color under the rainbow, but people really act differently based on their socioeconomic class, more so than based on their race or culture.
The wisdom of a young man.
In my opinion, I could be wrong, but that's my take.
I think you make a very strong argument for sure. No doubt. Like where you grew up for sure is a big thing culturally, without doubt. But like it's not even just the money aspect, like a bank account. It's what the money what kind of environments the money puts you in,
right?
And how that really can shape the way you think, behave, and act. Like it just is constantly like we talk when we have tenants in very rough areas, right? Their earning income, etc. It's very, very. There's a lot of patterns. I know it's going to be much more difficult to access rather than when we have a tenant. Literally, even when we have tenants in North Newark, right? It's totally different energy.
Right.
Totally different energy. They make a little bit more money. They're in a little bit less area of crime,
right,
et cetera. And it makes a difference. So, but growing up, did you realize that Bogota was not the hottest town?
Yes, I did. My dad was very transparent. It's like, oh, this is a blue collar town. Oh, this is a white collar town, right? Like if you're in Ridgewood, it's a white collar town. If you're in Bogota, it's a blue collar town. And you could tell that people know that when you grow up in that area. But really, when I knew it 100%. I actually didn't go to high school in New Jersey. I went to high school in New York City.
Oh, why?
I went to Regis High School,
Why?
which is a Jesuit high school, and it's the only tuition-free private high school in America.
Wait, what?
So
Why did you go there?
if you get accepted to Regis, and this is me as an 8th grader, smart kid, I was top of my class. It's hard to get into Regis for sure. And having tested into it and knowing what my family had gone through for me and my brother to support us and keep us running, the idea of having a top tier in the entire U.S. free education was an opportunity that I definitely couldn't pass up. And even when I was in 8th grade, there was whispers in the hall. Once you go to Regis, you're set for life.
Wow.
And that was something that I kept in mind, and I cared about myself and my family, even as a little kid in my heart.
Wow.
And it was a no-brainer for me.
How do you think Regis impacted you? Being in the New York City environment, et
It
cetera?
expanded my world like crazy. It made me feel like, okay, now I know what I was restricted from when I was just in Bogota, right? So from Regis, I ended up going to Santa Clara University in California on almost a full academic scholarship. And Regis is a Jesuit high school. Santa Clara is a Jesuit university. Matches up very nicely.
Yeah.
So it just kept going. I had never been to Europe. Oh, rich people go to Europe, right? Like Santa Clara. I'm not studying abroad. Rich people study abroad, even though I knew that I was surrounded in the Silicon Valley,
Yeah.
Mecca, and
literally.
these people are going all over the world. So
Yeah.
I'm like, and
On the private plane.
I told my buddy from Los Angeles, like, I'm not going abroad. Like, screw that.
Yeah.
Like, I got everything I need right here. And he's like, dude, just do it. I'm like, screw it. So
Did you do it?
I applied. I went to Italy for 4 months. I lived with an Italian family in Milan,
Wow, stop.
right in the heart of the city. And
How was that experience?
it was amazing.
How'd that impact you?
It opened up everything in my life just keeps on opening up my eyes. It's like a nonstop dance almost.
Wow.
It's a lot of fun. So Italy impacted me. How did it impact me? It made me want more opportunity to see more. I guess you could call it a travel bug, but really I liked the idea of living with the Italian family and getting ingrained in the culture.
Yeah, that was cool.
Definitely allowed me to just understand people better, right? Everybody's so different, and where you grow up is not the meta, right? Like, just because you are stuck on your beliefs doesn't mean that other people should be tied to them whatsoever. You need to respect other people's culture. You need to understand that people have developed this culture over generations, and they appreciate it. They love it. It's what they breathe every single day. And I see a lot of people around here in North Jersey, the biggest cultural melting pot in the country, possibly.
Literally.
And it's just interesting. You see Instagram comment threads of people fighting over what's right and what's wrong, and it's like, this is also petty.
Yeah.
So I think all this expansion and saying new things, it made me less petty.
My gosh. Wow. How would you say Milan it was, right?
Yeah.
How would you say the layout of Milan as a city differed from your growing experience, let's say in Bogota, like physically, like the streets?
Yeah.
Because Bogota is pretty much, maybe I'm wrong, but it's like simple suburban America, classic.
Totally.
Right? People have their fences, driveways, people keep to themselves. Milan is a really city, right? Like
Yes.
Milan's a
True
city.
city. True
yeah,
city.
true city. Okay. So what's that dynamic? Are people like friendly with one another? Is it more like close off like Newark?
Very
Newark's not
friendly.
so friendly.
Yeah, totally. Great question. I'm curious what Newark's like. I want to actually dig into that with you. But
Oh,
Milan, you walk downstairs. There was a pizza shop a couple doors down from my apartment. So I'd walk past there, and the guys would wave at me every day, like the American.
Oh, wow.
And so it was friendly. It was a very friendly environment. And the layout of Milan's beautiful. It's a circle. And then it's got rings. So the center of the city is the Duomo di Milano and the Galleria, all, historical stuff in the center of the city. And then there's the first ring, which is basically a ring road. And, from the center, there's branches like a spider web all to it. And then people live in the second. And each ring is almost a different socioeconomic class.
Wow. Do you ever watch Snowpiercer?
I didn't.
Chris, great movie. Long story short is Chris. The whole world freezes. It's gonna freeze. Like there's an economic. No, the whole world's like it's like global warming. That's what it is.
Gotcha.
So then I'm ruining the movie if you're watching, but this just reminded me of it. Basically, what ends up happening, it's a great actually example of real estate. It does put you in a socioeconomic position that ultimately affects you, which is super interesting because even if you're wealthy, I've learned like I make a good amount of money, right? I make a good living. And I make way more than Newark average income, which I think is like in the high 30s, right? Or like household income is like high 40s, very low income, 50, whatever it is. So I make a lot more. So I think even if my kids grew up here, the people they would know would influence them more than our bank account would influence them. You see what I'm saying? Like, because it would be in a lower socioeconomic circle. Right. Lower meaning economic status. That's it. Not lower in personal value or et cetera.
Completely agree and understand.
So in the Snowpiercer movie, basically they send out like this. They send out like this giant. I don't know. It's basically they're gonna send out this giant blimp almost to basically cover the earth in like this protective shield. And this one guy's like, this makes no sense. So what he does is he built a train all around the world. And the train basically is going to go all day in this amazing thing that can run no matter what it is, and no matter how bad the temperature, no matter how hot it gets. Mm-hmm. But the plot twist is, even when the thing went up, the whole place gets frozen. The opposite of hot. And in the front of the train, there's a wealthy people. And every portion of the train you go back, the back of the train is the poor people.
Okay.
And it's funny, the rich people actually take advantage of the poor people. And what? They actually literally... the parts of the train break, and they'll take children and put them in the train to work, and like these little small cubbies.
Right. Okay.
And then they end up they feed the people in the back the crappiest food. So the people in the back get sicker. They have less access to medical.
This is
everything. So when they end up going to the front, they hear music for the first time. Oh, in years, decades. Ladies playing violin. And it's so interesting because you think about places that are more like socioeconomically, the outer circles of Milan. Right. And you think it's like, these people literally don't hear the same music as the people in the middle circle. They don't taste the same food. It's so impactful. Just because you live in the outer circle, your opportunities change, your upbringing completely shifts, the way you think about money. Right. That was the biggest thing for me. I grew up very low income.
Yeah.
Funny enough,
Tell me about it.
So yeah, right. So I went to Rutherford. My parents sacrificed everything they could. We were horrible tenants, and we got into Rutherford. Mm-hmm. We got evicted probably like 3 or 4 times.
Wow, gotcha.
So kept getting evicted. I moved like 10 times by the time I was 13, or 13 times by the time I was 10. And it was so interesting because I asked my mom, why did you move us to Rutherford? Why? Like all our friends in church, they lived in like Elizabeth or Hillside, right? Mm-hmm. Or Kearney. And my mom said, Rutherford had the best school. When you go to a good school, you meet good people. Funny enough, long story short, my partner now, David Choi, one of my partners from Leverage Companies, I wrestled with him in high school. We got arrested together in high school. Uh-huh. We fought together in high school. Like everything we did together in high school. Now, fast forward all these years, literally 15 years later, we're in business together. But I got to think of myself, if I didn't have that socioeconomic placement outside of being in Kearney or Elizabeth or Hillside, where would I be today? And people say, well, it doesn't matter where you're from. It matters where you're going. Yes, of course, that's true. But where you're from has shaped who you are.
Right.
And who you are shapes where you're going.
And the people that you're surrounded with, the conversations that you have as a small kid, your brain's a sponge. Mm-hmm. You're gonna choose where you're going as a child. You're not dumb as a kid. I think we don't understand how intelligent little human beings are.
Oh my God, sponge! I have a 1-year-old. He's sponge, soaks everything up. He won't remember it, but subconsciously he'll operate out of it.
Sure, interesting.
Subconsciously, he's being formed right now.
Congrats on your 1-year-old, by the way.
Thank you. I love him. He's a great kid. Well, I'll share with this too. Imagine you didn't go to Regis, yes? Regis.
Regis.
Oh, Regis. Imagine you didn't go there. All you would know is Bogota. Do you think you would have gone to Italy if you didn't go to Regis?
I think I would have gone to Bergen Tech or Bergen Academies, to be fair. Or
okay. My brother went to Bergen Academy.
Bergen Academy?
Yeah, that was a big deal to us because that was like...
That's huge.
It was like, oh my God, you went to Bergen Academy?
That's as good as Regis, really, when it comes down to it.
Oh, it was that level. Bergen Academy was kind of crazy, I'll be honest.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
He did a tour, the education, everything. I was like, oh, this is like 15 years ago, 20 years ago, where 15 years ago, they did like STEM programs 15 years ago, where it's like he was a tech engineering mate, like he was like a high schooler with a degree. Oh, not a degree. It's like a major. A specialty. It was so weird.
I know about that, right?
It was so strange.
Yes.
Now it's more popular, but back then I was like, what do you do? Why are you learning tech at high school? We're learning math.
It's so important too, in hindsight, right? So I don't think I would have been truly exposed to that. My parents definitely did not want to send me to go to high school. And
wow.
My brother, for instance, went to Bergen Catholic.
Oh, they really were not a fan of Bogota.
Public education system.
They were not about it.
No, but the house was affordable for them. It's a nice big colonial on Palisade Avenue. Yeah. Was in disrepair, but my dad really, put his heart and soul into bringing it to life. And so it worked very well location-wise for his business. He's an interior wallpaper hanger.
I was about to say, isn't your dad a wallpaper man?
Yes, he's a wallpaper hanger for 40 years.
But super
41
high
years
end.
now.
Super high end.
Typically, but he does jobs for common people. He's a common man, right?
He's a common man.
And he works completely alone. He has had partners, his brother, a couple partners, myself throughout his life to help him out with the jobs, assist him.
Nice.
But he's the hanger. He's the only person putting wallpaper on the walls, doing the cuts, and he's really an artist with it. So I just did a job with him right before I went full-time real estate. I was working with him doing both part-time. And one of the last jobs I did with him was in Alpine at this like Russian oligarch style mansion. Gold wallpaper, so much gold finishes, gold fixtures, gold wallpaper,
multi-million dollars,
on the fancy ceilings, right? And but we wallpapered that entire house. They wanted so much gold wallpaper. Wow! And so he does very high end work as well.
I'm assuming at this point, 41 years in, he's probably all word of mouth.
Oh, he's always been word of mouth.
Always.
He's just got a phone number and an email address.
No website.
No.
No Instagram.
We just went on vacation actually in Thailand for 21 days. Brought my parents with me. Got them. So I'm getting them out now. They're like,
what is going on?
Their perspective is changing and stuff like that.
Oh wow.
They're like becoming more and more in love with life.
Wow.
In their age, you know.
Good for you.
They're amazing parents. So I got to give them full credit.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Let's dive into real estate. How long have you been in?
Got my license September 2019.
Okay, and when would you say you went, all in, full time, don't call me about
June 2021.
Okay, June 2020, gotcha. So you've been all in now just over 2.5 years, more or less. Okay. How has real estate impacted you in your world view, right? Real estate is very, did you just get in because of the hype, right? It was pandemic life, right? Like what happened?
Oh man, my story's a doozy. Long story short, I was living abroad in Southeast Asia with my brother trying to start an online fitness business. And after that failed forward, moved back here, May 2019, working with my father, working with one of his buddies, Mangano's Home Decorating in Fort Lee, doing installations for them, blinds and window fashions. If you guys need some in here, let me know.
Yeah, come on.
It's hot in here.
It is.
But so I was actually down pretty bad. I had gotten in an accident in Bali. A motorbike accident.
I went to my honeymoon in Bali. I spent 3 weeks there.
I'm glad you came back in one piece.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
Love.
But I'm not surprised. I had a motorbike accident, very small one as well. Very dangerous driving out there. Very dangerous. You have to be super good at driving. You are a motorcycle or a moped?
150cc moped.
Okay, so it's just above a moped. Yeah, just above a moped, just under a motorcycle kind of vibe, right?
Exactly.
But very fun. Super fun. But very dangerous though. People sleep on those little things, man, because those potholes are just...
Not even the potholes, man. I actually got cut off. I T-boned another bike, and I went flying over the handlebars. I have 3 titanium plates in my face, actually.
Because of the accident?
Yeah, I broke my face in 4 different places.
No helmet?
Oh, with a helmet. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, if I didn't have a helmet, I'd probably be
done.
Mashed
Brain
potatoes.
Dead. Wow. And it's funny, actually, when we went on our honeymoon, I told my wife, we do 90 helmets. Stop wearing a helmet. This is lame. And then here I am. Oh my God! Hopefully my wife's not listening to this one. She'll say, "I was right. You almost killed me."
Yeah, definitely.
Wow.
You know. But if you're taking it super easy, like
you had like one that helmet like this, not a
exactly. I did not have the full face helmet.
The full face helmet would have saved you from this problem.
It probably would have.
Wow.
I guess, right? Like other than that, I had a scratch on my leg, but I did go flying over the handlebars. So
Okay. So that. You come back, you're in terrible shape. Why real estate?
Yeah. So why real estate? So I am education student kid growing up, right? Good grades, good school, all the time. What did I do after college? I got a job at Salesforce in San Francisco, big tech.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Right into it. I knew exactly how much I was going to make every 2 weeks. It was a beautiful thing for me because for me, having never had money, I'm getting like $1,400 net every 2 weeks or something like that.
You're rich. You're feeling it.
I was living in San Francisco, though, so I had to budget super hard because that's when San Francisco was super peak, 2016, 2017, everything was crazy expensive. Rent,
Yeah,
food,
so
everything.
even though you're making like 50, 60, 70K, whatever,
I
it feels like nothing.
I loved my life though, because I loved budgeting. I've always budgeted my whole life because I'm always hanging out with all these affluent people with no money in my pocket. So I know how to budget pretty good because I know when the time and place is to spend money and open up the wallet. So
you have to prepare yourself for those environments.
Yes. So living in San Francisco and having the steady income, because I was before that doing side jobs, always manual labor, hanging wallpaper, installing blinds all the time.
Brutal.
And making some money. I'm like, this is great, but I really hated what was going on in my life. I felt super stagnant. I'm looking at the guy over next to me. He's like 5-10 years older than me, doing this like, in the same building. Like, I'm like, what? That's gonna happen to me, man? Like, what's gonna happen?
Yeah,
Where's my life gonna go to? Like,
go
all those
right
years, all those days, what's it just gonna go poof? Like, because I'm spending them all here?
You had an existential crisis.
I had a quarter life crisis.
Yeah, quarter life.
24 years old. I packed my bags.
What's the purpose of my life?
24 years old. I packed my bags. I went to Thailand with my brother.
Wow.
But so we came back and, been through a lot, ran out of money, broken face. I had a huge eczema outbreak for about a year where I could not bend my fingers without them cracking open and bleeding. While I'm doing only manual labor, showing up to work every day with gloves on because like I need to make money and I can't even.
So you got to tell me, how does this transition into real estate?
So I can't work any more manual labor. That's when I realized I have to go back to New York City and get another corporate tech job because I don't have any other options right now. And as I'm driving to work one day with my gloves on, I used to wear them in the car. Just even having my hands exposed would be terrible. So I see this real estate salesperson's wanted sign on Main Street in Richfield Park. And I say, whatever. I'll just go in, salespeople. I figure I'll get a sales job. I know how much the sales guys made in big tech at Salesforce. You could be 3 years in making $350,000, $400,000 a year.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, real estate sales, local, don't have to go to the city. Let's see what it's like. And I didn't even know you needed a license. I knew nothing about real estate. I go in, I'm like, how do I start? It's like, you got to get a license first. I'm like, can't I just get a job like selling houses? And they're like, no, man. So that's how much I knew.
Wow.
And then they explained the commission structure to me and all this stuff. And honestly, I call BS on all of it to this day. It's all made up. Somebody made it up one day. They lobbied hard. They freaking fought for it to set it in stone. And they set it as a norm in the country, right?
Do you know what we do for commission on our buy side?
I don't.
We charge a buyer 1% minimum buyer fee to buy a house with us. It's like, I would say about half our buyers sign up for the program. Maybe a 40% of our buyers, 35% of our buyers sign up for the program.
What does that do for you and what does it do for the buyer?
What it does for us, it helps us remain profitable in a market where your commission is constantly getting pushed down.
Sure.
And it allows us, number two, to offer a service where we can actually not just sell 100 houses and do everyone like a crap job, push someone into a house and not care about them afterwards.
So
very
messed
hard.
up.
Very hard to do though, because
Right.
you're only paid at the time of closing. You're not paid afterwards. So if you're not able to be profitable enough to breathe, you can't serve. So without margin, there's no mission. No margin, no mission, right?
So true.
And then the third thing it does, and the third really, this one's for the buyer. It allows them to have access to two programs. Very simple. One, they above and beyond what they expect, which is a high caliber of service. It permits them access to off-market properties. If you work with us, you get access to our properties first. Before it hits the market, before anything, you get first tips.
Beautiful.
Boom. It's very valuable for us because we're listing heavy. We do maybe 120 listings a year.
Wow.
Right?
Great.
So we're doing it. We're here all the time. 100 listings a year. We're 50-50, sell 200 houses, maybe 100 houses, close on sell side, 100 houses on buy side, which really means you probably get 130 listings, right?
Sure.
So you get the first access. And a lot of times we can't even get to market. We just, hey, you're a buyer. We want to work with you. Boom. So they don't mind paying. And the second thing is we have a program where it's like love it or leave it. So if you buy a house with us and you want to sell within the first year, we charge you 0% commission on the sales side.
Wow.
That's it.
That's really impressive.
Who cares? It doesn't matter.
Love it or leave it.
Love it or leave it.
I like that.
Nothing's original. I just take it from people in the Keller Williams world and put it here in New Jersey.
Okay.
That is it. No intelligence in this brain. Just copy and paste.
Isn't that a beautiful thing?
It works. I'm not trying to create the wheel, but no, the commission part. You're totally right. It is made up. Do you know even in
Keller Williams told me that.
Oh.
I started Keller Williams.
No way.
Yes.
The prodigal son has returned. KW. Wow. It is made up. Which office did you start with? Which one?
Woodcliff Lake.
Woodcliff Lake. A different owner. Yeah, a different owner. KW is only as good, I realize, as the brokerage you're affiliated with.
Interesting.
That's what I realized. Totally different. Not even the brokerage, the owner of the brokerages. That's the
Yes.
guy. Yeah. It makes a big difference. The wrong brokerage can be a slight, but the company as a whole, I do love. I really do. Like, I'll probably be a KW guy till I die, I would imagine. Maybe I don't think I'd switch, honestly. I really love it. I'm broker agnostic. I don't care if you're with Compass, Weichert, who cares? I don't care.
Yes.
But I really don't care at all. But for me and what our values are as a company, align very well with Keller Williams.
That's nice.
Just
Nice to find a place to call home.
Oh, yeah. And I've gone to war with KW several times, like arguing, wow, this is not right. This is not right. I definitely fight.
And they've respected your opinion and come to reasonable conclusions?
Yeah. Yeah. I will say also though, I try not to be disrespectful with it. So like I come like humble, like, hey, maybe I'm wrong, but this is what I believe. Right. So I think maybe that helps.
Fair enough.
But no, the commission structure is made up. I do agree. It's just like total BS.
So back to how did I get to real estate? I'm like, what the heck is going on in real estate? Like, I had no idea. And I know the public has no idea how this works either.
You felt like it was like the sleazy, the pushy?
Yeah. I see it. I mean, I'm not the most friendly to agents because of the way that they treat
their
me
clients
as an agent, right? Like there is very bad transparency agent to agent. It's almost like I want to start getting listing heavy myself and
for sure.
start making content about how buyers shouldn't even go to buyers agents and they should just go. And I'm gonna make some content actually about stop using Zillow.com, use Homes.com.
Oh, Homes.com!
It always puts you in touch with the listing agent.
I'm only about brother. I agree. I just signed up with Homes.com.
It's like,
2 weeks
what
ago.
is this garbage?
What is this garbage?
This is garbage.
And we spent.
I'm on camera right now.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. We just signed. We're doing a campaign right now. We just increased our ad spend monthly like $18,000 for sellers, like $17,000 for sellers. We do not have the money, so it's like 17 grand. I think we ended up increasing it or something for seller opportunities, and we ended up signing on Homes.com. We're spending about $2,000 a month there. But the rationale why? Because Homes.com, it's your listing, your lead,
right?
For us, we're so listing heavy. We're bringing so much value. Sellers love us. We know how to work with sellers. We are. And frankly, to be honest with you, I love my buyers out there. Shout out. You know, I've taken care of you.
Yes.
But my buyers love me, not because I smile, but because I care about them genuinely.
Right.
They know that I empathize and I really believe in them. 2, because I have a proven track record of success. I am very confident in what I do. And 3, more importantly than probably the first 2, outside the empathy, I care. I can provide the product. If you cannot learn how to provide product, sellers in this market, it is the most exhausting business.
It is
because buyers, there's no leverage. The most leverage you can have with buyers is an admin and a showing agent. On listings, it's all I leveraged. The most amount of time I spend on listing is negotiating and consulting. We have a lady right now. Her name is Aislinn, amazing director of transactions. She's going to go to a house today at 4 o'clock to ensure the person gets their house ready for sale. Do I need to be there? No. Do I need to tell them what paint color? No. I have I just an employee. You hire them. They make the people think, oh my God, you're going to help me really prepare my house for sale.
Right.
Yes, we will. Hold my hand. But it's not my hand that they have to hold. It's Aislinn's. On the buy side, it doesn't translate. What can you leverage? Show my client this property. Okay.
Yeah. And then your client's like, oh, Tyler's not there. Brendan's not there.
Yeah.
Like, I really like the same thing with me. The reason that my buyers stick with me is because time and time, I'm patient with them, right? A lot of my buyers I shop with for over a year.
Yeah. Oh, I've worked with a buyer for over 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been committed.
Committed. My biggest gift from anybody that I've met in the real estate industry came from a couple that reached out to me on Instagram. Love you guys. And they shopped me for about a year and 6 months.
Wow.
And then they referred their old landlord to me who had a house to sell, also a house to buy. And they also had their mother who lived in town who wanted to sell her house and also buy a house near where they were moving. So
5 sales for the price of doing 1 good job.
Right. And sticking with my buyer and believing in them, right? They believed in me that I was going to help them, but I believed in them that they were going to find the house. And that's what they really wanted in their heart. Obviously. Wow. It's so obvious. Every buyer wants that. Yeah. And buyers are sketched out by real estate agents because it's a sketchy business, especially when people are so hungry right now.
No, it's not just a sketchy. It's not inherently a sketchy business. What makes it sketchy? This is why the lawsuit I think was really good. It's because it just forced everyone to be transparent. Yeah. Here's how much I get paid. Here's how I get paid. Here's why I get paid. There's no pressure here. Here's why we deserve this extra fee. You don't agree with an extra fee? No problem. Think about this. This is the crazy thing about real estate, to your point. And then we got to go back on how it impacts you. You got me in talking about the industry. Wow, very strong man. But what I'll say is this. If I have a realtor, let's say an attorney. There's an attorney who gets paid, let's say a brand new attorney, wet behind the ears, just got his license, just got barred, right? Just passed the bar.
Sure.
And even let's say he's an injury lawsuit attorney. Okay. He makes X amount of money. If I told you, let's say he makes $1,000 a lawsuit, whatever, $10,000 a lawsuit. And then there's another attorney with 30 years experience, with a staff, with a proven track record of success, who has interpersonal network in the judicial system, and he makes $10,000. Both are charging you the same amount of money. Does that make sense?
0 sense.
Makes no sense. However, in real estate, it doesn't matter if some listing agent decided just because they could negotiate their own value, they're going to pay me 1%, 0%, 2, 5, 4%. They're going to determine my worth? Hell no. I know my worth. I'm not worth the same guy who's just opening the door. I'm going to take after you post closing. I'm going to take care of you during closing. I'm going to make sure you're prepared not just to be a home buyer, but to be a homeowner.
That's a beautiful thing.
Huge difference.
Huge difference.
So when you do that, I can't be getting paid the same as the guy who's wet behind the ears. I can't. It's absurd. I have to get paid what I'm worth. And I create value, I set the fee, and then I collect the fee. And that's how I do business. So I'm very transparent. Here's what I'm making. I had a client right now, $225,000 listing. Mm-hmm. I said, hey, we're going to charge you a $20,000 commission. I said, Brandon, that's way more than 6%. I said, I understand. This is what we're worth. We may not be for you. I understand. Why? We want to help everyone, but we can't afford to. There's no margin. We can't be in business.
Right.
We can't be in business. Okay, I got to shut down the office. I got to lay off my employees. I got to stop helping people turn houses into homes. Okay, shame. So with all that said, yes, a lot of sketchiness. So you go into KW. Do you end up getting licensed or are you still not licensed? And you just secretly do real estate?
The office I walked into on Richfield Park was not a KW office. It was just a local brokerage. I just saw a real estate salesperson wanted to sign. I ended up interviewing 8 different brokerages because, again, I'm like, what is going on here? Like, I got to see what these people are about.
So how did you end up? Where did you go to? You went to KW at the end?
Yeah, KW was one of my 6th or 7th interviews.
Oh my god!
And I interviewed a team there, and I ended up joining a team.
What team did you join? If you want to ask?
Infinity Property Group with some great team leaders, Daniel Grosso and Tracy. Tracy actually left very early in, so it was just me and Danielle.
Okay, and how did it? Oh, so was it more of a tight knit team? It wasn't
so it was just me and Danielle at one point.
Oh, so it was a dynamic duo.
She was a for sale by owner specialist.
Oh wow.
So she's getting listings. People were clapping in the office for her. Definitely caught my attention. Great energy and very positive. It seemed like okay, from somebody who has no idea what they're about to get into, this seems like a good fit.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. And I mean, KW, man, at the end of the day, I took home 32% of my buy-side transactions being on that team because you have this 70-30, right? And then the 6% Gary Keller fee and then the 50% with the team.
Yeah, it's brutal.
After 7 transactions there, very thankful and I went there to learn, right? I joined the team with the intention of learning.
That's wise. Yeah.
I definitely felt a little bottlenecked into okay, this is as much as you need to know for your role on the team. And you don't really need too much more expansion from here. And I'm like, I'm working. This is all part time, right? I'm working all day, hanging wallpaper with my hands bleeding, and then I'm going 5:30 to 8:30 at night showing houses over and over and over again. This is 2021. It's hot market. Brutal. Or 2020, 2021, and it's tough, man. You know, placing offers, and of course coming off 2019. This is the shift where people didn't even. No, I could go to my people at KW and I could say, what do I do? What do I offer?
No one knew.
I couldn't get any answers from anybody at KW. I was like, I'm out of here.
Wow.
And I went to EXP solo.
And then you went to wow, yeah. Isn't that funny? The lack of support in real estate really can be so overwhelming. And especially if you were dual career, it's just no way. You need the most support possible so you can really have a chance of making it out of that 9 to 5.
And especially not being a natural salesperson, I think a lot of people just tell me what to say, and I'm sure if I regurgitated it, boom, I'm selling real estate. But I'm like, why? What about this? What about this? What about this?
Even that, one thing I really refute at all costs is that term natural salesperson. Why? Because I used to think I was a natural salesperson because I had the gift of gab, right? That's why we call it. But gift of gab is actually usually some of the worst salespeople.
Because they talk too much.
They talk too much, or they get too friendly. What we do now,
that's my problem.
Yeah, they get too friendly. So
too friendly.
Yeah, the way I'm teaching my sales team now and really helping them gets the results that they deserve. And because, for example, you said 30% too little. Well, if I told you, hey, I'm going to pay you 10% commission, 10% split, so I get 90, you get 10%, but you're going to make 200 grand. Would you care? Probably not. You probably go, 200 grand. Wow, that's crazy. How am I going to make 200 grand at 10% split? Well, when I went to KW, I met several people with 10%, 15% listing agent splits making 200 plus grand. I said, how the hell do you guys do it? I said, well, this is what we do. They go to appointments, they close appointments, they negotiate deals. Clockwork.
Why are they making only 10% if they're doing the hardest work?
Actually, to be honest with you, that to me is the easiest part of the job. Like the lowest overhead is that role. Going to the job, going to the appointments, closing the appointments, and negotiating the deal, not rocket science. Obtaining the opportunity, servicing the clients, different. And then making sure you have the system software to track the data for 4 years, and you maintain that, and you're training the individual to get them to a place where they can continuously close, and that they are basically what you're doing is basically a performance training.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand exactly what you meant. I didn't realize that they're not gaining the opportunity from scratch. Like they're given the opportunity.
If you can get the
sounds like heaven is a place on earth.
Heaven is a place on earth. Yeah. And maybe let's say you got it, and that was at 10%. So my team, there's a split. There's a difference, right? They do both. They prospect and they're getting these leads. So it's different. How was the transition going the solo route? How did you feel?
Oh, the loneliness set in really fast.
How did that impact you?
Left the EXP after 2 transactions, 5 months.
Really?
I went to a private brokerage. I was like, you know what? If
the loneliness hit you that hard?
If the big company doesn't provide me answers, KW at the time, I was dying for answers.
Yeah, wow.
Big company can't provide me answers. Big company solo had everything I needed. I thought EXP was great, but I'm like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. Out here all alone, don't have enough experience to just be completely solo. I really didn't know what was going on. Never listed a house at that point. Went to a different brokerage, Realty Empire in Clifton.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Peter.
He's at Real Broker now.
Yeah, he's at Real Broker.
Yeah, but Chris Varela is the broker over there at Realty Empire. Great guy. Solid real estate agent. Closed 80 transactions as a solo agent 1 year.
Nice. Not bad.
Yeah, so cool guy. Very, very knowledgeable.
Yeah.
And I went there because of multiple reasons. Doesn't really matter. But that's where I finally said, okay, like I go to the office every day and there's a small group of people who I see every day. Exactly.
And then that's when you were full-time or no?
Yes, I was full-time.
So when you were Realty Empire, you said, I'm doing this all the way.
Basically, EXPs after my second deal with EXP, because I mean the 32% split to 2 deals,
at 90
two buyers,
or 80% split,
80%. Like I saw my first $10,000 check, and I was like, okay,
this is real.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now you went to Realty Empire. Now you're a real brokerage.
No, I'm not.
Oh, you're not real.
No, I'm at 2 in Realty.
Oh, sorry. Peter's real.
Another private brokerage in Bergen County.
Yeah.
Clifton's not in Bergen County. I'm trying to be a Bergen County real estate agent. The drive every day drove me crazy. Yeah. And I had an opportunity to join a real estate brokerage privately owned in Fort Lee.
I know one of your guys. You have a guy there. Oh, I forgot. Paul. Tom. Asian guy?
Yeah.
Asian guy. He works with my same contractor, Tuccini Construction.
Oh, Tom Lee.
Yes, Tom Lee.
Yes.
Yeah, cool dude.
Tuccini's good.
Yeah, Tuccini's the man.
He's really
Douglas,
good.
if you're out here, we celebrate you, man. Yeah. He does all my jobs. He's not cheap.
I hear he's not cheap.
He's not investor friendly. No.
Quality, I think
quality is key.
Screw cheap jobs.
Yeah.
Too.
Oh no.
Another hot take in real estate. Screw your cheap contractor.
Screw them.
You are not only messing up the home for your experience to live there. Yeah. Especially if it's for yourself, but you're also ruining your resale value.
Oh yeah. And just headaches. There's nothing. Someone told me there's nothing more expensive in life than being cheap. It's the biggest expensive thing you can do.
Right.
Okay. So now let me ask you some rapid fire questions. You ready?
Yeah.
How has being in real estate affected, how have you been able to maintain? Oh, I love your watch, by the way.
Thank you.
How is your beautiful watch? I don't know what kind of watch this is. What is this? It's beautiful.
It's PRX.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
I love this watch. So
matches your eyes.
I'm about to get one, honestly. So I'm getting that watch. So wow, it's beautiful. Holy crap. So with that said, how has being in real estate impacted your work-life balance? What does that look like to you?
So real estate has really made me reconsider everything in my work-life balance. It's very easy to be disciplined when you have a place to go from 9 to 5, because your calendar is not blank space. It's a huge block in the beginning of the day. This forces you to make sure you get your gym and workout in before that block of the day starts. After that block, you need to be able to eat your dinner, have any social time. So everything's planned when you have a real job, quote unquote. When you're a real estate agent, you're surrounded in a world, especially right now, of people struggling hard. Your other peers, your other real estate agents in the business on Instagram, all your friends that you know, right? Like most of the conversations that happen are it's clear that people are stressed out. And so what I've done to combat that is I have started getting extremely disciplined. And I think it's a beautiful thing to be able to have this kind of discipline without having that 9-to-5 block of schedule. So for instance, I've been waking up early and I have some roommates right now. So I literally shake this guy in bed every morning. I drag him to the gym so that we can get there by 6:30 in the morning.
I love that.
Because if you don't get to the gym by 6:30 as a real estate agent and you go to the gym in the afternoon,
no, you're done.
You're cheating your clients.
Say it again. Say it again for
you're
the people downstairs.
You're cheating your clients if you're not going to the gym in the morning as a real estate agent.
Agree.
You do not have time as a real estate agent.
Yeah, you're doing a 3 o'clock lift, 2 o'clock lift. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Let's be real here. What are you doing?
You got no business.
What are you doing?
I know, because I used to do it.
You got 4 deals, and you're like, "Oh, I'm doing very well." Right.
Yeah. So and also being in real estate just made everything so obvious. People puff when they talk, right? They puff up everything. You know what exaggerate.
If someone tells me they sell 100 houses a year, like you just mentioned, I'm sure he does. Let's say nicely, the 80 units closed.
Yes.
My mind is what I think. I don't know what the guy's name was. He probably did 50 units. 30 of them, maybe 10 of them were rentals. So he totally did 60.
Yeah, right.
I don't believe anything. For what I did was very crazy. I stopped doing this now. I don't know why, but I used to do like screenshots of my profit and loss statements.
Okay.
Like, here's how much money I lost, and I'll just put it up, and people are like, "That's crazy." I'm like, okay. And I was like, that was it. But just because it was so, I agree with you. It's so much, like, one thing about work-life balance in real estate is you can actually drive yourself to a point of being a workaholic because you're trying to keep up with the Joneses, and you don't realize that Joneses are full of crap.
They are so full of crap, man. And I am so sick of it.
Fake watches. This guy was just with this guy, one of my clients from Brooklyn, the friends in Brooklyn, I call them, right? The Hasidic community. Yeah. And they were this one guy, he's very progressive, liberal. He was on Instagram, and he saw this guy bought a $29 million building in Manhattan. He's like, man, I'm such a loser. Like, I'm not doing anything compared to that guy. Okay. I'm like, how many partners did that guy have? How much money did he use from his family? How do you know that's even a real deal?
There's always a story behind it.
How do you know it's a real deal? How do you know that he didn't literally just take a picture of a building and say, I just bought this? You're like, Brendan, no way he would do that. I said, are you on drugs? We have countless examples in history of the fakeness. And that fakeness, it causes people to compare themselves to that unrealistic. And then even when it's real, the real ones, can I tell you why I find them? Very humble. Very humble. Do not brag. The guy making $100K net a month doesn't brag, doesn't post, doesn't say anything.
I'm just in a place in my life right now where it is so paramount and important to me to grab some control of life. Money's crazy for everybody right now. It's decent for me, but not great by any means. I still have plenty of months where I am like, what the heck am I going to do? And with that constant pressure of trying to get out of this, especially when the market's been impacted, not that, like, last year was my best year. I did 8.5 million in solo volume. I think I did even more that I just didn't get correctly attributed. But
yeah, you're so funny. You're Tyler Sellers, but you're not. Yeah, who cares? It's like I don't care. I just care about the money. You can attribute me for one sale a year as long as my bank account says I'm number.
Yeah. Okay. So it was good. It was my first time ever breaking 6 figures.
So you sound pretty a little like type A with the money. Me, I'm not. I wish I was like you. I definitely would be better off financially.
I'm psycho with it for sure. I hate spending money.
Oh, I love spending money. It's one of my favorite things.
I hate spending money.
Oh, no.
Especially on things that are completely unnecessary.
No, I don't spend money on things that are... that's not true.
Which is like a flavor. Like, for me, eating is protein, carbs, and fats.
Oh, no, brother. The one thing I will not waste... The one thing I go all out on is food.
You do?
Like, last year...
Oh, I know a lot of people like that.
This is a hot take. Groceries and food last year, I spent over $40,000.
I completely believe it. I probably did, too.
Yeah.
And that's why I have no more money.
We spent like $40,000, my wife and I, about $40,000 or just over $40,000. We did our year in food. Why? Because I realized this. When we go out to eat, we always buy food for everyone. And it doesn't sound big, right? Buy food. It does.
Oh, that sounds like the most insane thing in the world to me.
I was going out to eat. We go out to eat. I always buy food for you. And I was going out to eat at one point like 13 times a week. 13 times a week. There's 7 dinners, 7 lunches, and 7 breakfasts. I was going out 2/3 of the time I was going out to eat. And I would always, my thing is I never want to eat alone. Why? Because it was a good opportunity for me to coach people, mentor. So that $47,000 to me, I saw as an investment in my people, in my relationships, taking on investors, blah, 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 whatever, clients. But you take on clients to eat, That's a $300 bill.
Right.
And those bills, let me tell you, they add up very quick.
I'm very aware. I was a finance major in college. I've been watching my bank account like a hawk since I was 13 years old.
How do you end up with someone?
How do I end up with what?
Someone. How do you end up married? Happily married. How can you build a relationship like that?
I need to set up some kind of system in real estate that, I mean, look at yourself, right? Like you can have some kind of prediction of what you're going to make next year, right?
Yeah.
Based off your past clients, your marketing efforts, your prospecting efforts, everything and the like.
Mm-hmm.
I am working on creating that system for myself right now. I've been really working on it since November. So I've been super heads down since November. Like I got my new website up. I'm running ads to my own website. It's really stepped up the social media content, went viral a couple times, almost hit 1 million views on a YouTube short, got 950,000. So
go watch that short.
So I'm really just hammering it, and I have some prospecting goals that I'm working with a partner right now, like an accountability buddy.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens, right? Like I can't say that I'll be in real estate forever, right? I've been doing it successfully enough to keep myself fed for 4 years, but nothing more than that so far. So I can't say like real estate's like the dream job. Like real estate is something that I've dedicated my life to. It took me a long time to even transform my mindset to become someone who identifies as a real estate agent instead of just identifying as Tyler Sellers, a guy who also sells real estate. Like I'm a real estate agent, and like I can really help you. Like that took years to get to it myself, right? And the idea of transitioning is I put too much into it, right? So you feel trapped. Because what am I going to do now? Start something else from scratch that I'm going to put so much into for potentially 5 years, and that doesn't pan out? Like,
can I be honest with you?
Yeah, sure.
You have, maybe this is inappropriate. I don't know. Your mindset is off. It's off. You act like you see it as it's like a zero-sum game almost. Like think about this. It's not. Oh, I'm going to start something else. You can't start something else. Why? It's not. You didn't start real estate. You started in this is how I see it. Maybe I'm on maybe I smoked before I got on the podcast. I don't know.
Talk to me.
But basically, like the same thing I think with real estate. All I did was develop a better version of myself. Mm-hmm. That's it. That's all I'm doing here. I'm more like
real estate's definitely brought the worst in me.
Brought the worst, brother.
Definitely.
The way you're framing it, no, you showed yourself in a high amount of grit. The relationship, perhaps, maybe that was tough, but
maybe just coming off of that too.
Yeah, you showed yourself a high amount of grit. You overcame where many people would just give up. Another thing is you morphed. You developed new skill sets. You became a social media strategist. Do you understand how many levels and skills you have developed and to have gotten you to a point that you've earned over $100K, where the average realtor in America sells like 5 houses a year? Brother, you did like 6 houses a year. You leveled up so many times. So even if this doesn't work out, you still win.
So to answer your question of how do I see myself ever becoming dateable, right?
Yeah,
That's where this whole entire tangent came from, right? Like I have to make more freaking money.
All right, well, I like that.
Like that's the truth,
okay,
right?
Yeah,
like
fair enough.
For me, money is the motive, money is the problem, right?
How much money would you have to make though? Let's say for you to be in dating world consistently a month.
You know what I need? I need a freaking house.
A house.
I need stability.
Do you know why I think this is so crazy? Because my parents, granted, they had a horrible marriage, so I don't like to use them. But I say my wife's parents. They were so poor. They came to the country. Mm-hmm. They stayed poor, and they really are poor still. Like they never really launched financially. Mm-hmm. They were her father was a pastor, Presbyterian, and her mom was a bank teller. Still are.
Right.
They have like probably very low saved up, but the thing they have is one, they have great kids who take care of them. Just kidding. But two, they made they're very responsible with their money, like you, super responsible, very good stewards. And three, though, what they really had was like almost a detachment. I'll end with this. They said that this was a secret to living a happy life for them. It was very powerful what they told me. They said, we only like things, we love people, and we adore God. We adore and we admire only God. We like things. We love people. We admire and adore God alone. Ladies and gentlemen, you have Tyler Sellers, Bergen County Realtor, super, super ethical, learning from him daily. Adios. Oh, one thing before I go. Tyler, what's your handle for Instagram?
Follow me on Instagram, TCellNJ. And if you want to find me on YouTube, it's at Bergen County Real Estate.
TCellNJ. T as in Thomas, L NJ. What a great handle.
Thank you.
My God. Killer. Okay, goodbye, guys.